You walk into your local grocery store, and right by the entrance, you're greeted by a massive, vibrant display of fresh-cut flowers. Curious, you probably don't buy them, but you definitely notice them. Grocers use the presence of these flowers to manipulate the subconscious of their customers. The fragrance and color subliminally convey the thought of freshness, signaling to your brain that the produce waiting inside is just as ripe and pleasant. This diagram shows the psychological pipeline of that sensory trigger. The priming shifts your subconscious intent. Instead of heading straight for cheaper canned and frozen goods, you find yourself eyeing the high-margin fresh produce. More of your dollars go directly into the grocer's pocket. Explicit persuasion is obvious, like a salesperson on the street directly asking for your money. Dark psychology is different. The intention remains hidden, directed subtly and without your awareness until the target has already complied. Because we assume we're the sole authors of our choices, we walk right into these hidden traps, completely unaware that our resources are being systematically extracted. Psychological surveys regularly ask people how much control they feel they have over their own lives. Almost always, the vast majority report that they operate with complete free will. That universal confidence is exactly what leaves us defenseless. When you think you can't be tricked, you stop looking for the strings pulling your decisions. A wide network of agents actively exploits this blind spot. It ranges from everyday salespeople and campaigning politicians trying to secure a vote, to narcissists and sociopaths looking to dominate a personal relationship. Mind control functions as a systematic set of tools, allowing predators to move through an individual's conscious defenses by capitalizing on the very similarities in how all humans process information. These tactics didn't appear overnight. The science of persuasion relies on behavioral patterns mapped out thousands of years ago. Long before modern marketing, Aristotle laid down the foundational theories on human communication, detailing exactly how we build and grant trust to others. This triad illustrates his three core methods of persuasion. You have logos, which appeals to a target's logic, pathos, which taps into their emotional state, and ethos, projecting credibility and trustworthiness. A skilled manipulator uses these classical concepts to map the gap between two things: the target's actual mental state right now and the mental state the manipulator needs them to reach. If you can help someone see they can achieve their desired state of mind by following your instructions, you have gained influence over their actions. Mastering these three methods creates the foundation of credibility required to win over a target. Once an agent learns to sell their views as effectively as a salesperson, they can begin to escalate toward more coercive techniques. Psychologists like Robert Cialdini identified levers manipulators use to bypass critical thinking: reciprocity, commitment, social proof, and authority. Take reciprocity. If someone does a small favor, your brain feels an overwhelming obligation to return it, forcing your compliance. To slip past your defenses even further, a manipulator will match your reasoning. If you argue with logic, they respond with logic. If you base your ideas on emotion, they give you an emotional argument, mirroring your mind so you drop your guard. This leads to priming, where a manipulator softens a target through hours of conversation and empathizing. This deliberate show of care builds a foundation of false trust, easing the individual into believing the manipulator knows what is best for them. When reasoning is matched and trust is manufactured, the agent gains the ability to make decisions for the target, while the target still assumes they are choosing freely. At this point, the boundary into active mind control has been crossed. At this stage, agents often employ re-education, the weaponization of repetition. By forcing a target to hear the same idea repeatedly, they become immersed in it, eventually re-examining and abandoning their own feelings to adopt the manipulator's conclusion. Political figures constantly manipulate facts through the strategic disclosure and withholding of key details. Consider the Friday close of business tactic. They dump legally required, damaging information right before the weekend, knowing the public is tuning out, guaranteeing the facts avoid heavy media coverage. By perfectly controlling the timing and flow of information, manipulators hide the truth in plain sight, allowing them to quietly dictate the public's reality. At its core, ultimate mind control is exactly that: the absolute, persistent control over the information a target is allowed to receive. The renowned psychologist Philip Zimbardo noted that through these systems of influence, an individual's freedom of action and choice can be completely compromised by external agents. By combining group pressure, isolation, and techniques that interrupt memory formation, a manipulator aims to shake a target to their core, wiping their original identity and installing a new one that serves the agent's needs. And the worst, most dangerous thing a person can do is assume they are too smart for these tactics to work on them. The only true defense against the dark side of psychology is active, conscious awareness of how these invisible architectures operate. Start looking for these frameworks of influence in your daily life. Notice them in grocery store layouts, in the wording of political media, in the structure of your workplace, and the dynamics of your relationships. The next time you feel a sudden, overpowering urge to buy a product, agree with a politician, or comply with a demand, pause and ask yourself, is this my original thought, or was it planted here?